This episode is sponsored by Shutterstock.com. With over 20 million high-quality stock photos, illustrations, vectors, and video clips, Shutterstock helps you take your creative projects to the next level. For 30% off your new account, go to Shutterstock.com and use offer code GAMEBREAKER6. This episode is also brought to you by Audible. For a free 30-day trial and to receive a free audiobook, just head on over to audible.com/Gamebreaker.
Gamebreaker TV.
What's up, everybody? It's Tuesday night. That means it's time for some live viewer questions on Gamebreaker After Dark. I'm your host, Mike Schaffnit. Tonight, we got a lot of crazy questions that I'm going to pretend like I know about just for the sake of this opening. It's going to be a great show, so you guys should be sure to tune in. Joining me once again. This time, he's finally come out of the closet. I don't know what kind of closet he came out of, but he's now joining me in the actual studio.
And I brought a mic stand with me,
and a mic stand and a non-echoing mic.
Can I get a mic stand? 1 2 1 2. Hello. Distance. How's that? Is that out of another shot?
Yeah, that's
did I just pull it right out of the shot?
Yeah, we're all right.
Wow.
Cool.
Look at that burnout.
Man,
I'm back from E3 and I'm sick.
don't lie, that's breath spray.
No, it's bee pollen.
Bad breath spray. Oh, just trying to give you a nice little hint there.
What's up, everybody? Welcome. Good to be back. I'm glad I'm not in the closet. Ready for some After Dark.
Yes, yes. Gosh, this is the first After Dark after E3, isn't it? Man.
Yes, it is.
Time flies, but at the same time, it feels like ages ago that E3, like that we were at E3. But man, should be interesting. If you guys got any E3 related questions post-mortem, feel free to call those in. Otherwise, we're just kind of taking open forum questions tonight. So let's jump in and get started and take the first caller. So, caller on the line with Gamebreaker After Dark. Tell us your name, tell us where you're from, tell us your question.
Hey, can you guys hear me?
We can indeed.
All right, my name is Liam, or XDager from chat.
Hey, Liam.
My question is, there's been a lot of successfully funded Kickstarter campaigns for video game development projects recently. Do you think this could be the future of game development with like a lot more user interaction early on in the development cycle?
Who should start? I'll start. You want to
Go for it.
I definitely think right now it is. I don't know. I mean, I don't think it's an avenue for everybody. So if you look at the people who are actually being really successful, it's people who have a very good big history. People know who they are. They've shipped games. They're like, known well developers like in the industry and things like that. So do I think a lot of them are going for it? Yeah. Do I think it'll last? I don't know. There's like there's people on both sides of the camp here wondering if it's kind of a fad and if things are going to kind of burn out. We are seeing some backlash with Kickstarter campaigns on the film side.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you've been paying attention to a lot of that, Chef. And a lot of people are starting to get disgruntled on the film side about project that they're funding, and I don't know, things maybe not. What's really the problem? Are they not coming through? Or are they not
no,
delivering?
I mean, it's not that they're not coming through on the film side of things. The big issue is look at it. It's the Zach Braff. What was the other one? Veronica Mars. There's big issues with people because a lot of people look at Kickstarter as the way for the indie producer, the indie filmmaker, the indie game developer as an avenue to kickstart their projects. And there's a lot of disgruntlement with say, for example, the Zach Braff one for two main reasons. One, he's not, or at least the Veronica Mars one is actually the one. The Veronica Mars thing isn't solely being funded by Kickstarter. They simply went to Kickstarter to raise the money to prove to the studio that there was enough interest in the series to be produced.
So why are people angry at that? What's the problem with that? I don't see.
It's causing first off, it's causing a little bit of a problem in perspective of the person who's the indie filmmaker trying to get their project made, because now studios, like, as if studio production wasn't hard enough on the film side to get into, now studios can pretty much just say, you want this to be made, now go to Kickstarter and raise $3 million, otherwise we're not going to touch it. And the studios still are maintaining a massive control of, say, the Veronica Mars thing. The other issue with the Zach Braff thing, you know, a lot of what people say is that, for example, I'm almost positive, I haven't checked in a while, you don't get a ticket when you kickstart Zach Braff's feature film.
But you're also pointing out one particular Kickstarter campaign.
But it's the way that the growing trend of this is affecting the film industry that is very toxic to the way that it could affect all things I mean, it's only a matter of time before big companies decide to embrace this idea for game development as well. To think that it's strictly going to just stay there for film. What happens when a game developer?
But I think game development is stronger on Kickstarter than film even is at this point. They've said it's the #1 generator of funding on Kickstarter is the gaming market, not even the film market. I don't know if that's what I still don't understand what the real issue is in the film market. I've been hearing grumblings about the film stuff and people are complaining about, but I don't really get. Okay, if you're kickstarting a film and you're not getting a ticket to the film and you have a problem with that, then just don't kickstart it. Like, if you think that should be part of it. I don't get that. So is it I don't know, is it a fad or is it a way that companies or game developers are actually going to start? I hope more game developers do use Kickstarter, because I think it's giving them leverage and freedom that we haven't seen in a really long time to kind of get games going that may or less not be so interesting to large companies. It just doesn't fit in their portfolio. It's not a big of a project. They want to spend less money. I don't know. Call, you still on there? What do you think about the whole Kickstarter thing? Have you kickstarted any games on there so far?
I mean, one thing that really got my attention was this Hex MMO trading card game that's just been. They asked for $300,000 and they're up over $2 million. I mean,
sure.
It's really successful. So,
yeah, I mean, so. What's your take on it, though?
I mean, I think that it could be the future. I mean, this is a big company really getting involved here, and I think this definitely raised my awareness. Just seeing like a big project like this Hex Trade. So I think it's going to raise more people's awareness, and I think it's possible it could really be the future. I mean, because there's all this feedback early on in the development process. So. But
that's the other key part that film doesn't, the film side isn't embracing. The game design definitely does. Is the people who invest in Kickstarter for game development get to be a part of the process, get a little bit of not necessarily ultimate power in the game, but they do get to be a part of the process. The filmmakers who are embracing this, they don't get anything. They're not even a part of the. Basically, they're just giving them money, showing them that they want the movie to be made.
Screw movies. I don't care about movies. We're about video games. I just want video games to get made. Maybe we're doing it right, they're doing it wrong, and that's the end of this. But
you can't just look at it that way, because as soon as it starts becoming successful for the film industry and the top dogs there, you cannot pretend like there isn't going to be some game company that embraces it the way that the film companies are. It won't stay pure for long, and to just straight up assume that is, I think, is a little naive.
I don't know what pure means. I mean, we've already seen game developers raise an X number of dollars on Kickstarter, and Mark Jacobs, perfect example, Camelot Unchained. We did a lot with them. They broke their $2 million mark on Kickstarter. Mark also, I believe, injected a whole lot of his own money. And I may be mistaken. I'm not sure. Maybe chat room will remind me. But I also think there might have been outside investment on that as well. So it's a matter of generating dollars from different sources. And I feel like Kickstarter in general is a great way to kind of gauge the excitement and the do gamers really want this game? I don't know. I think a lot of these developers, especially you see a lot of the old veteran developers taking like old IPs they worked on years ago. They've probably gone back to the studios and said, "Hey, I'd really like to make this game again, or version 2 or HD." And the studio just doesn't seem that interested because maybe they don't think that there's enough of an audience there. And then they jump on Kickstarter with it, and all of a sudden, boom, it blows up, and they've got millions of dollars. And they're like, okay, well, there's at least this much interest in our game, so at least it can get made. I mean, I think the beauty about Kickstarter, though, and why I actually really do like it, again, is toxicity going to develop in any sort of thing like this? For sure. Are there people on Kickstarter just, probably trying to set up campaigns to then just like, go buy a private jet and just like barely put out a product? I'm sure it's happening, right? But at the same time, I think you're going to see a lot of, especially for the gaming community, I think you're going to get to see a lot of cool, like smaller indie games that we just never would have seen the light of day. So I think it's all the reason I was going to say, I think I really like Kickstarter. I don't know how you feel about this, Shaft, like again, but they really kind of put the control into the player's hands of setting up the Kickstarter. So the whole thing about like, did people on the film side get tickets to the film? That's not really Kickstarter's issue. I mean, that's just like the person who put that Kickstarter together just
True.
Like, was a douche and didn't even like want to be like, hey, here's a ticket.
True, but I mean my argument and my point more comes from the philosophy of what's going on the film side. There are inherent flaws and problems with the way that they're going about it on film, and Kickstarter is not this perfect beast just because it's working in one way. And I know for a fact these flaws.
Is it the Kickstarter system that's flawed, or is it just how the individual people on the film side?
It's the way that it's set up. But Kickstarter, and again, I'm not blaming Kickstarter by any means here, but I'm saying there are flaws with the system, and it's only a matter of time. And this will kill what the greatness that is Kickstarter of allowing indie developers, indie filmmakers to actually have their products. Yeah, I might need some. Actually have their products see the light of day, because all it's going to take is the few people who look at Kickstarter and say, "Yep, I can abuse that." It doesn't matter if Kickstarter's putting the rule in place. The second that the higher ups embrace the idea that they can and will, it's going to ruin it for everybody across the board, not just film, not just video games. It's going to ruin it across the board.
I don't know. I think there's people on both sides of the fence, and I think some people are thinking it's a fad and it's going to die out. I kind of thought that in the beginning of Kickstarter when it first launched, and I first heard about it really early on and started. This was kind of before any of the big game stuff really hit. I did have my doubts about it. Now I've seen it kind of work. I've Kickstarted a few things. I've gotten product. I've kind of gone through the system, and I don't know, man. I'm gonna say if I have to place a bet right now, I'm gonna place my bet on this is gonna last for a while. I don't think this is gonna be something that burns out. I don't think so many people are gonna burn that it's gonna go away. That's my opinion.
I mean, I could see it lasting for some time. I don't think this is the development of the future by any means, but I think we will have this system in place for at least 10 years or so. Because the other thing that I look at, and we can close out, I know we need to move on, but I mean, the other thing is, when I first got involved in being on Gamebreaker and being a host of different things, I really became really shocked with how generous people are with money or systems. Missy for Gamebreaker is a perfect example. She's looking to build a gaming PC, and I think she's been getting donations from Gamebreaker fans and viewers to build a gaming PC. So the generosity of people out there is definitely there, and I think that's exactly what Kickstarter is great for. It's great to see. It's great for people who are trying to do or make creative things and just want to get their message out to people, because there are a lot of people out there that maybe would never have heard of it otherwise. But I just don't think long term it's 100% safe in its current incarnation. But we'll see. We'll see how it plays out. It'll be interesting. And who knows? Maybe I'll try and come up with something to kickstart myself and figure that out. Let's move on and open up the lines again. Caller, you're online with Gamebreaker After Dark. Tell us your name, tell us where you're from, tell us your question.
Hey, this is Ozai from the Netherlands.
How's it going?
I'm fine, thanks. How are you guys?
Doing good, doing good. Looks like Gary's fixing some audio issues. He might not be able to hear you right now.
All right.
But go ahead with your question.
Go ahead.
All right. So my question is, since there've been so many rumors about raiding in Guild Wars 2, what are your thoughts about this? And do you think it's gonna be like really hardcore raiding, like in World of Warcraft or Wildstar trying to create, or do you think it's gonna be more casual, like the rest of Guild Wars 2, like their content?
I don't see Arena going into really hardcore raiding personally. I don't know. I it seems to go against everything that they've created from ground up design on the game. I can't see how they would just get into like full on hardcore like 40-man raiding or something. It seems a little bit out of what I mean. I think that they're going to get better at encounters hopefully and start creating some more challenging bosses and build on their mechanics. And we talk a lot about this on Guildcast, about how some of the boss encounters are kind of lacking in just different phases and things like that. I don't know. I don't see them getting into a full-on progression sort of guild system, and do the whole gear grind and all of that stuff like it comes along with the whole World of Warcraft scenario. I think they're leaving that up for everybody else.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that the model that they tried to embrace of bringing, whatever classes you want to a dungeon, it kind of breaks that whole philosophy that Guild Wars kind of stood the ground of breaking the Trinity. And I don't think it's impossible. And I realized when I made the Breaking the Trinity video that I wasn't very experienced with Guild Wars. We had all 5 of the players that went through that dungeon just hit level 30 in a matter of 3 days, and we were still getting very familiar with the controls. But I just look back at that and look at how difficult it was to get through. And then I think of trying to orchestrate a very hardcore kind of raid mindset, and I just don't know if the mechanics that hardcore kind of element that you see with where people consider World of Warcraft to be, I don't see how that system can be in place based on the fundamentals that Guild Wars has been established on. It just doesn't. I just don't think it could work as well. But I don't know. That's just me. Real quick, want to take a moment and show you guys an amazing deal that we've got going on right here at Gamebreaker. It's squarespace.com. We're so happy to actually have them on as a sponsor. If you guys are out there, it's the 21st century. Everybody's got to have a website, and Squarespace makes it incredibly easy to get started. So much so that I'm going to take you through it right here. You can go to squarespace.com, and it's really simple. Get started. Okay, that's great. Hey, you know what? I want a template. I don't know how to build a website. It's a lot of programming. I spend a lot of time making videos and I want to showcase them, but I don't necessarily have the money to pay a programmer. Squarespace does it all for you by giving you these amazing templates that are completely customizable. One of these ones that I've really like right here is this 5 view. And what makes it even actually more incredible is that it works with both browser and mobile. It kind of sets itself up to work on both systems right from the get-go, just using this template. And no technical web programming skills needed. It's basically just you can kind of come down here and swap out certain places and add in your own information. Guys, it's an amazing tool if you guys are trying to build a website. And
they're doing some things. There's some themes. I know we can't find them right now to show you up, but there's some things that they're technically doing that are just phenomenal. The way that they like slide images in, it's such modern web design that literally should probably cost the user like tens of thousands of dollars to create. Like if I hired a programmer to make a site that did what Squarespace does, it would cost tens of thousands of dollars easily. And really, they've figured out a way to just build this back end system to just make it simple.
And gosh, what other programs out there? I mean, the only thing that I know that makes something this simple is Wix. And Wix doesn't give you this amount of freedom that all these different templates, all these different styles. It just doesn't compare with what I've seen of what Squarespace has to offer, and it's just incredible. Guys, if you haven't checked it out, you should definitely go do so. We've got an awesome deal going on. If you enter the promo code Gamebreaker6, you'll get 10% off your new account. Go check it out, squarespace.com. Please, please, please. All right, moving on. Let's keep this show moving and open up the lines one more time. Caller, you're on the line with Gamebreaker After Dark. Tell us your name, tell us where you're from, tell us your question, and it's sponsored by Squarespace.
Hey, Mike, it's Rich from Breckenridge.
Hey, Rich, how are you?
All right, how are you? Before I get my question, though, I do want to say a hopeful congratulations to a good friend of mine who may be, if things work out well, may be rubbing elbows with Mr. Josh Allen.
Ooh.
Yeah, he's a prop artist.
Exciting. Okay, all right.
So he just got back after being flown out by Blizzard to do an interview.
Well,
Huge shout out.
Best of luck to him then on that amazing opportunity.
Yeah, it's amazing too. He just graduated, so it's huge.
That is big to come right out of college and have a job like that lined up.
Yeah. So I'm very happy for him. So just wanted to throw that down. Anyway, reading some patch notes recently on the PTR for WoW, and why do you think, after all these years and how complex the game has gotten, Blizzard is so against making two different rule sets with regard to PvP and PvE? Why don't they just separate them, make the rules different for each one, and that way they don't have to constantly counterbalance against themselves? Because at this point, if you see it, just in the PvE environment, we have 4 rule sets for raiding alone. You have LFR, now you're going to have Flex, Normal, and Heroic, and the encounters work differently, not entirely, but there's mechanics that don't exist and that do exist in just that part of the game. They seem so set on not doing it the other way, and I think it would be easier.
Mm-hmm.
They will never split them. Ever. They will never, ever, ever, ever split them. You might as well just forget it now and just move on to it. If you're looking for the split, just go find another game that's willing to split them. It's never going to happen. It's just not going to happen. This is not the way they want their game played. It's not how they want to design their game. It's not how they want to try and balance their game. It's just they've said it before. They've gone on record, and I think if I remember right, it might have been Ghostcrawler who talked about this and just said it's not our game design whatsoever. Like we just don't want it to be like that. So.
Well, I mean that's true, but they've said that about any number of things. Oh no, we're never going to have flying in the old world. Never in a million years. We're never going to do it. Never, never, never. Oh, wait a minute. We're going to redesign the entire old world from scratch, and there you have it.
I mean, I think there's something to be said. Like, people and developers can change their minds, and I think this even goes kind of against what Gary's saying. It's not something that I think that could never happen, even with them having come out and stated it. But I don't think it's something that's truly feasible. It's not the way that they've been trying to build their game from the start. They especially as they try and make everything more accessible to more and more players, the more divided they make it, the more separated it's going to become, and it doesn't fit the current philosophy that they are currently going down. But for a moment, Gary, let's just pretend like this is going to happen. Blizzard just made an announcement, and they've decided they're going to split PvE and PvP. What do you think it would take in order to separate those two ideas and make them their own kind of two distinct pieces? And would it be beneficial to the community?
I mean, first of all, could you imagine the level of confusion you would create just amongst, like, not hardcore players who would take the time to learn it, but the 90% of the players out there who actually play World of Warcraft casually? Could you imagine them trying to understand two different games and why their character plays completely different, and they have different abilities and different skills, and they do different things and different numbers, and everything is there would be such mass confusion, and I think that I think the small amount of people who are super hardcore who would understand this it's not beneficial for them.
Don't they already do split different numbers based on, I mean, yes, there are different coefficients there, but I'm not doing 100,000 DPS in PvP. That's all mitigated through secondary stats like resilience and PvP power, et cetera, et cetera. So, I mean, there is separate numbers in place based on their current systems right now. It's just, you know, they haven't split. Well, Mangle does X amount in PvE and does X amount in PvP. It's just kind of worked differently. I don't know. I mean, I think that
I think a lot of gamers think that this is like the silver bullet for game developers, and well, if they just did this, it would all work. And I don't think that that's true whatsoever, because I think some other games out there have sort of tried it, and it still doesn't really necessarily mean that everything's just going to fall in place. So I don't think it's something you can just. I don't think it's just something you can just implement and just kind of change right off the bat. I really don't. So I don't think. I think it's very easy to sort of like on a high level be like, well, that just sounds like it would work if we just split these two things and we could just balance everything, because we'd have two spreadsheets instead of one. And I just don't think it's that. It's not that easy.
all
I
right.
wish it was.
Well,
I don't think it is.
yeah. I don't know. I mean, I like to. I don't necessarily like to think that it is, and I don't know if it's a solution to the problem. I think there's a lot more. There's a lot more going on than just PvE versus PvP. But if that's the case, think of the development time and the downtime and the changes and all of the complexity to it at that point. And as Gary said earlier, that's not the way that they've designed the game, so they won't take this approach. But maybe if that's going to be your design philosophy from the start, it could be as simple as creating two different games. One that's strictly PvE, one that's strictly PvP. Don't start down a singular path and then tell people that they've got to choose later on because you're splitting up the game. I think that's got to be something that's kind of integrated to the core design of the game. Otherwise, you risk alienating some of the players who maybe kind of like the status quo, maybe like the ability that they're able to intermingle with PvE and PvP. So I think there's obviously unknown factors in that as well.
Don't you also feel it though, like if I know a lot of gamers want to think that, like, especially in the MMO scene, that like, you know, every single thing should be completely balanced, like everything should be a mirror, like, which isn't, for some games, isn't that boring? Like, I personally don't want that game, to be honest. Like, if I wanted if I want a competitive, like, completely skill-based game where you and I are going like toe to toe and we're on an equal playing field, it's a different game. I don't know. I think a lot of developers I think they're okay with it being out of balance a bit. Like, it adds flavor to the game. It adds complexity to the game. It adds grouping with other people, and like 90% of the other time when you're doing, like, you know, PvE stuff and grouping, it gives people different roles and things to do. Like, I think if you were to have every single class balanced completely to the T across the board, I don't know if it would be as fun as everybody thinks it's going to be.
Could be. I don't know. Let's go ahead and move on. We're about halfway through the show, so let's open up the lines and make this next caller happy. Caller, you're on the line with Gamebreaker After Dark. Tell us your name. Tell us where you're from. Tell us your question.
How's it going, guys? It's Kyle from Rhode Island.
Hey, Kyle. How's it going? How's Rhode Island?
So Rhode Island, it's small. It's nice.
What you got for us
so
tonight?
I'm gonna stick with the major changes in WoW theme here, and with Blizzard announcing flex rating in 5.4 and kind of an attempt to make a community more involved with each other. You think this means LFR is gone next expansion?
Gosh, we just talked about this on Legendary.
Yeah,
didn't
we talked about this in like a lot on Legendary. I don't think no one thinks LFR is going.
They're for two different people. LFR was a system that was put in place specifically for the single individual person who doesn't have the time or doesn't have the means to get together with a group and be a part of a guild. They want everybody who plays their game to be able to accessibly see everything that they want to be a part of. The problem is, because the current system of LFR has kind of embraced it, either you're 10 or 25 man raider and you're really hardcore, or you are simply just LFR. There is no kind of like, I log in and have fun and play with my friends and go raid. That doesn't exist. That's why I think the flex rating system is being introduced. And I hopefully think that we should see a massive decrease in the effectiveness of LFR. You know, Pat Crane, I think, brings up a great idea of, after this expansion, removing raid tier from LFR. That means that, you know, the hardcore 10 and 25 players no longer feel compelled to run it for their tier bonuses, as well as maybe, just maybe, if there's that individual person who strictly wants to run the LFR content for the purpose of seeing the content, guess what? They get to do that. But if any part of you is running LFR because you want to collect better gear, guess what? You've got to step up and take the time to collect the better gear. Now you have to be incentivized to move on to either the flex rating or the 10 or 25, and it will motivate people to want to be better players and step up to that next level. Or if that's really not their thing, they'll stay in LFR as a singular person and continue to enjoy the game on that level that they're playing it on. And
but how great is it going to be for people who aren't like super hardcore raiders, right? And like, you know, you got your group together and, hey, tonight we've got, you know, 12 people. And then tomorrow night, well, we've only got 10 people. And you can still kind of jump in there with your friends and your buddies that you're used to playing with and not sort of break that whole thing up and go into LFR and just grab random people, which usually is a shitty experience. And like, still have kind of a good night. Hey, Jack's missing tonight. Something happened and he's got to go somewhere. All right, no big deal. Like, we don't have to freak out anymore and be like, but it's raid night. Like, you can play.
But that is a problem based on the new news that came out about the flex rating system that completely counteracts that idea. The fact that the second you have one level of a person different, you have to start a wing over with a fresh clear causes a problem. There's no longer that community of, we're clearing through this dungeon, oh, we don't have someone, because you are getting penalized. You are having to reset your whole entire section. The other part that I actually dislike about it is the fact that it is separated into sections, because now that it's separated into 4 different or 4 or 5 or however many different sections that you can queue individually for, you're no longer working towards this idea that you're clearing an instance. Like, that's the one thing that did feel really good about 10 and 25 mans that friends and family guilds did, I think, enjoy, was you did feel like you were clearing out this epic citadel or this epic, you know, cavern or whatever the case may be. It felt like it was this all-encompassing singular.
But you can still do that.
But you can't.
Just get your group.
No,
Not with the flex system. Just have your group and just go to your thing and have a good time, just like you normally do. I think this is for a different type of people. I think this is for a different group of people.
Not true though, because they talked about the flex system trying to adhere to the friends and family raider that existed in Icecrown Citadel. Those type of people. I had a pretty hardcore mentality with it, but I still feel like I was on the friends and family mentality, because it was about 11 or 12 people that we were all really close, and when one person couldn't show up, I couldn't just go replace them because it was their spot. It caused a problem, and then we just didn't raid for the night if they didn't show up. That is the friends and family raider that I'm thinking about. It's not for the people. Essentially, in my opinion, all they've done at this point now with this new flex system is create large raid dungeon queues for groups of people, not create a flexible raid system that's a friend and family raid group that is working to clearing a raid. It's a section down version of a raid, and it doesn't feel like, and at least for me on the outside, I haven't tried it yet, so I don't know for sure. It might feel great, but just objectively looking at it right now, I feel it's not going to have that same scope of what a 10 and a 25 man does with the flexible nature that they're touting. And that's where I think the inherent
But maybe
flaws
it's not supposed to. That's my point.
Maybe it is.
Like, you want that same glorious, monumental feeling, but you don't want to put the effort into it to just have that static group and, like, we're going to raid every single, like, Wednesday night.
No,
so you want the best of both worlds.
No,
like, you don't want to
no.
put the effort in, but you still want the emotional response to it. And I'm thinking, well, maybe the whole idea of is that, like, yeah, maybe if you still want that, you do still have to go do just, like, straight up,
But then
here's your group, and you're going to, like, meet X number of days a week and raid.
It's not, because, again, like, because even LFR included, I feel like LFR feels fragmented, and it doesn't feel like it's a piece. Even if I was to grab 5, and I don't know if you can multiple queue with a larger group for LFR or not, but Even if I was to grab 5, 10, 15 friends and jump into LFR together, the fact that it's so fragmented, I could take the work to say, hey, let's log on and every week. But the fact that it doesn't feel like a raid that we're progressing through, the fact that if one person doesn't show up, that entire reset is redone, effectively erasing
See, I don't think
the community work that I did.
This is where I think you lost. Like, I don't think it's like progression rating. I don't think the flex rating system is like for progressing raiders. Like, I think it's for people who don't really give a shit about what you care about. Like this whole like, I want to feel like I'm progressing. I think it's for people who just want to like jump in and be like, oh, we did it yesterday? That's cool, man. I'm just happy to be hanging out with my bros. Let's do it again. I don't care. Like, I think it's for a different, I just think it's a different mentality. I don't think that they're sitting around and being like, we have to progress through this dungeon and we have to get it done. And we have 8 people tonight and we have 12 tomorrow, but we got to keep progressing. I don't think that's the mentality of this type of player using this type of thing. That's my opinion.
But I think that's, at least speaking with our community, that's a majority of what those people were expecting. For example, caller,
Do you
I
think the
apologize,
majority
I
of our
forgot your
community
name.
though is just like progressive raiders, like actually like have a raid night and just actually go raid? Because that.
But there's a lot of, I feel like there's a lot of people in the community that would love the idea of still having that progressive raid mentality with the flexibility of
Again,
10.
you want that feeling.
Caller.
You want that emotional
Tell me where you
response
stand.
feeling. Yet you
Shut
just,
up, Gary.
You just want to like. You just want it.
Caller, you tell me where your expectations. What do you want out of the flex rating system? Let's see. Let's put this to the test because maybe I'm just projecting my own feelings onto everyone else. Let's see. Let's find this out.
I didn't mean to break the show. However,
No,
No,
you're
this
fine.
is great.
It's great. This is great.
Show. Where do you stand on this? What do you think of it?
my point with this was actually that I think that they're taking this to they realize that with LFR I think they made a bit of a mistake where they made it too much of a just sign up, get loot, no one talks to anyone, just show up. You don't even have to do anything. You could be awful. You could die every fight, and as long as you're not hurting anyone, then you're gonna get loot, and you'll see the last boss eventually. You'll get all the gear, and you'll still be really bad. But I think what they're using this for is it may not go away next expansion, but flex rating will become the LFR for their next gen MMO. I think at the very least, like they'll be afraid to take away LFR from WoW. But if their next gen MMO has rating and is a rating based end game, then they're gonna go, you know what? LFR didn't work. We couldn't really take it away from people because we gave so many people loot. But we want rating to be a thing again. We're like, if you say you raid, like it's kind of impressive. Like it's okay that not everyone can see the end game. I think
I can see that, and I can kind of agree with you. I can agree with you. And here's my thing now to Schaffnit. Now let's just say, because we're all about making up scenarios today with Blizzard, and like, well, what if they did this? But what if they did this, Schaffnit? What if they got rid of LFR and the only 2 things in the game were flex rating and progressive rating? Would it be okay then that you didn't get the same emotional response and feeling of triumphant and oh my god, I'm a good person because I did this? Because now there's only 2 levels of things happening. It's like this road or this road. That's it.
But see, that's the thing is I think LFR is a necessary feature, even in their next gen. No,
I said if it goes away, just if it went away.
But I don't want it to go away. I don't like it. I don't like what it's doing to the community. But and I think it should be an incredibly chopped down version with no gear.
Wait, does LFR help the community?
I think that should be 5-mans.
LFR,
what you're talking about is 5-mans.
But at the same time, and I agree with you, it is 5-mans. But there's still the player out there that wants to participate in 5-mans, that wants to see the raid content just as much as every other player. And again, I'm not saying that just let them jump into it. It's very clear accessibility is what they're going for. They don't care. They want everybody to see it. That's what they're embracing, whether you play by yourself or whether you play with 25 friends. They want you to see everything that they make. And that's what LFR does provide. It does provide the ability for someone who only plays by themselves or only has the time to play by themselves to see all of the content without any of the enjoyment of playing it with other people. The problem is they need to strip down what it offers and be okay to say, if you want more, if you want better gear, if you want tier gear, you have to go and try something harder. But it's still, I still enjoy it being there to allow the single person the ability to see through all of the content, because that player does exist.
I think flex rating is just for a different type of player. I think it's for a different type of player, and I just don't necessarily. I think, fall in between because you want to think that you're a hardcore progressive raider, and
Not
you're
even
not,
close.
But
Not
you
even
want,
close.
but you want that EP to think that you are, and that's what you want flex rating to be. And as soon as they're like,
It's not even.
no, you gotta do
I
the
don't-
wing again. You're
But
like,
I don't want it.
come
I don't
on."
want it comparable. That's the thing, is I don't want it comparable. All I'm talking about is there's a feeling. There's a sense of pride and enjoyment of moving forward through something. I don't know. Caller, you did a really good job of not answering the question, but giving us some information. You're supposed to answer the question, what do you think their strategy of flex rating is? I'm not letting you off the hook. What do you think their strategy what do you think flex rating is targeting?
He did. He answered. He says it's a test bed for the next game.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's
I
right.
think it's basically a test, and I think if they start to lose subscribers, and they really want to, if they think community will save the game later in its lifespan, then I think they will get rid of LFR, and they'll just say, you know what, flex rating's the thing. LFR may have ruined some of rating, and I think it will be gone by the end of World of Warcraft, but I don't think next expansion myself.
I can't wait to see how this plays out, because I honestly really think from the theory side of it, I actually think flex rating is going to be great for World of Warcraft. I think it's actually going to do the community a lot of good.
Yeah.
I think getting people out of LFR in any way, shape, or form is going to be a good thing for people. And for people to just create smaller groups and have that little bit of flexibility night by night of when they want to jump in and play World of Warcraft, but not be so like shackled by the number of people that they may have on any given night, and somebody wants to actually like have a life and, you know, maybe go to the movies or something. Oh my God, that sounds crazy. You would stay home in World of Warcraft, but you got to go to the movies. I think that is going to bring players back who maybe aren't even rating at all anymore because of that. But that's LFR.
That's what LFR
No,
is.
because I don't want to jump into a random with a bunch of jerks. Like, I want to just jump in with like 3, 4, 8 of my actual real friends as a group and just do it. And
But as a group, and you want to move forward with something as a group. You don't. So you're fine. You're fine with hey, Tuesday night. We're gonna start through this.
I don't have raid nights. No, come on.
You're not you flex rating. There's no way you're going to be able to just have. I don't want to say no way because there are large guilds. Flex rating is going to be, hey, Tuesday night we're gonna have a raid. Log on if you want to raid. If 10 people show up, you'll raid. If 15 people show up,
raid.
You'll raid. If 8 people show up, they will still look for people to log on at that time to raid. But they won't try and simply define it to a 10 or 25 or 10 people and 3 on standby. And hey, you still got to log on this way. I still stand by that. I see it being a perfect way for people to set up these progressive raids, without the restriction of, sorry, I could only hey guys, every week Tuesday 9 o'clock you need to be on. Well, Gary, hey, sorry, 11 people logged on and you're the 11th on the list, so I can't bring you. You still need to log on every single Tuesday so that I can make sure that if we have spots, you can come in. And oh yeah, I need to know what gear you need, because if someone of the other players doesn't need the gear, we'll bring you in so that you can maybe get the gear there. That's what they're eliminating here. They're eliminating that stuck standby raider, and allowing people to set up, hey, Tuesday night we're gonna raid. Everybody log on, and however many people we get, we're gonna go. And that's what this could be.
Chat room has now defined it. They said LFR equals casual, flex equals hardcore casual, regular equals hardcore. That's it.
Yes.
That's as simple
That's what
as
I'm
it is.
saying. I don't know. That's where I stand with it.
All right. Moving on.
All right, let's move on. Caller, thank you so much for sparking that debate for the past 15 minutes. Please feel free to call in again. That was a fun call. All right, while we get another caller on the line, let's go to a quick Twitter question. That one was already asked. We'll just go to this one here real quick. Let's see. Adrian Lloyd asks, what is this how to play stuff I've been seeing on GBTV lately? That is original content that I've actually been producing. Quick little just snippets, jokes, commentary of topics within the gaming world. But I think what's important here is and Gary can maybe even say this is it's us trying to do new things, not necessarily stopping long form shows, and we'll continue.
Calling you out as a fake plug.
I wasn't even me. That happened without me. Thank you.
It really did.
There were only like 6 Twitter questions to choose from when I pulled them all up. This was like the very first one, for the record. Second, the reason I brought this up, we can move on from me shamelessly plugging my own stuff, but what I'm trying to get across is like
fake plug.
Look at if it was a fake plug, it'd be from my Twitter. I've done it before.
If it was a fake plug, I'd be reading it.
So, but no. What I was trying to say is how to play is a perfect example of us trying new things, trying to figure out different types of content, different things, different videos that you guys maybe do or don't like, and trying new things. Not necessarily stepping away from shows like this, but trying to give you guys something more.
We're going to be doing a bunch of new type of content in the next few weeks and months. So some of it's going to be short form. Some we're just going to throw some stuff up against the wall. If we have ideas, we'll put stuff out. And we'll let you guys decide, see what you like in the comments, by the views, see what you guys like, what you don't like, and things like that. So we're going to try some new stuff. We're definitely going to make some more long-form shows, like Schaff said, but Schaff started doing how to play, and I saw it, and I thought it was really good. And I was like, dude, we need to put this up on the site. I think people will really like it. They're like 30 seconds, 40 seconds. They're meant to just watch super quickly, and I think they're hilarious. So we'll be doing more of them.
All right, let's move on. We got another caller on the line, but before we do, this next question is brought to you guys by Shutterstock.com.
I love me some Shutterstock.
If you guys haven't tried Shutterstock.com and you guys haven't taken my advice from the previous ad and gone, you're making a website. You guys have already taken our advice. You're using Squarespace to make your website, but you're clearly going to need images to populate it and make really cool things, really cool pages, images. We use, as Gary would say, we've done a lot of the icons and images that exist on freetoplay.tv.
A whole other thing today we're working on. So actually, we're working on a whole redesign again. Yes, of both Gamebreaker.tv and freetoplay.tv. Both sites are getting completely redesigned from the ground up, for reasons that we will talk about another time. But yeah, just today again, right? We're putting all these cool little icons on the website where we're giving Editor's Choice Awards, and we need a little trophy looking thing. What else did we use? We're changing all the little icons. We need a little graph icon, and went right to Shutterstock and found a couple of vector icon sets, and they just look awesome. They fit in perfectly to the new website and the design, and they just look great. So
let's say the viewers right now want to create that. All they got to do is head on over to Shutterstock.com. They want to look for icons. What did you search when you were looking for icons?
I think I searched. Well, for trophies, I think I searched trophy icon.
Trophy. Oh, it might help if I spell trophy right. Trophy icons. Not necessarily any icons, but as you can see, there's banners here.
Go to your left. Go to the left a little bit, the left-hand column there, and click that says vector. Check off vector. So it only searches vectors. Can't see it. It's off the screen.
I've got HD, SD, editorial. Nothing
you're in
vector.
The footage section. You're in the movie section. That's why.
That might actually help. So if I click over here to photos.
Yes, go over to photos. Click that, and then
username and password. Well, let's just go back to Shutterstock. Shutterstock.com.
Should have just signed me in.
Well, then everyone would have your password, Gary.
This is true.
Trophy icons. Bam. Whole bunch of different badges, icons.
Yeah, there you go.
Simple stuff that you guys can use for your website or whatever you're looking to build.
The third one is the one that I think that's the one I actually took.
This one right here?
No, the one back. I think that's the set I actually picked up.
And it's that simple. I mean, as Gary said, there's different categories. If you're looking for images or pictures, Shutterstock has that. Recently, I actually had someone come to me, and we were trying to look to put together a library of planes and trains and all of this footage that they were looking to have a bunch of stock footage. Where did I go? I went to Shutterstock. That was where we found all of the stock footage for that. And it's a great resource to have if you guys are looking for anything image. And if you guys head on over to Shutterstock right now and use the offer code Gamebreaker6, you guys will get a great deal over there. So be sure to head over and do that. But because it's that time for, unfortunately, it wasn't Audible and it wasn't Netflix, but it was an ad, which means it's time for some Eduardo's Corner. So, Eduardo, I know you're out there. What do you got for us?
Hey guys, how are you?
Good.
Hello, Eduardo.
Okay, well, do you think that the Xbox One is an even more controlling boyfriend?
I feel like you asked this one, or did you ask if Xbox was a controlling boyfriend once?
No, I asked if EA.
EA, right.
Now, why do you say that, Eduardo? Why don't you
But I think
explain
that
for the audience
well,
what do you mean by that?
Because what kind of insecure person needs you to prove your loyalty to them every day? Like, well, you know that the Xbox needs to be
Check
on the
in like every
internet
24 hours.
every
Yeah.
24 hours. Yeah, and then, well, a controlling boyfriend doesn't like you to share your time with more people, and in the same way that the Xbox One doesn't like you to share your games with your family and your friends.
Yeah, I mean, well, gosh. Honestly, and here's my outlook with the Xbox One. There has to be a good, legitimate reason as to why it has to connect to the internet for gameplay reasons. I know one of the major reasons is obviously it's authenticating your ID. It's making sure that you've purchased the game. That's the only way that the games will work, because it's essentially like the Steam store. It has to connect to do that. But the other thing about this is, gosh, I don't want to be so negative on Xbox. I don't think that they're doing everything right. I think there are definite problems with this. But there was an interesting article that I read about their outlook with it, and a lot of people think that this is very audacious for them to come out and say. But what Xbox is trying to do is they're looking at what Steam is and trying to create an environment that's similar to Steam. Create a digital marketplace that is available on the Xbox. And they even in this article came out and said the idea of, if you want games to be cheaper, we have to come up with this digital platform. And if this works, we easily could see and again, this is someone PR from Xbox talking, so I know that this should be taken with a grain of salt, but then we could potentially see a drop in prices for games because of that. I think there are definitely inherent flaws with the way that the Xbox One has been designed and created. Hands down, they're going to have some hurdles that they're going to have to jump over.
I think they're completely dropping the ball. I'll say they're shit in the bed. They're totally effing this up. They're just I don't know what they're thinking. Actually, you know what I think they're thinking? They're thinking like the music industry did X number of years ago when they all started like putting in DRM and, you know, you could download the song, you can't play it anywhere, you can only play it on this device and this, that, and the other thing. And guess what happened? The Pirate Bay blew up. And every kid in college started stealing music left and right.
This is Pirate. I don't even think it was Pirate Bay. It was more Kazaa and Napster.
Whatever. It was just a point. It was just whatever. There was 1,000 sites doing
Pirate
that.
Bays were programs.
There was 1,000 websites doing it, but people hacked it. Thing is, people are gonna hack the Xbox in like a week and break this. And I think I think what they're gonna do, and I don't think they're gonna make it like they're gonna make it so easy to hack that the average Joe is gonna be hacking their Xbox. Like
as long as the hardware is there is no stopping for the pirates.
I wonder. I mean, I don't know what the deals are. I wonder if the Microsoft has some really other big deals on the back end as far as like, you know, going into the television landscape and like maybe some cable providers that we don't really necessarily understand how those deals are structured. I still think they're totally effing this up because I mean, they're talking. I listen to like a lot of like talk radio. I know I'm like old like that, even on AM where it's like completely racist. You know, AM is so racist, man. If you ever listen to AM radio, it's amazing. You should listen to it because AM radio like 3 in the morning is completely off the wall. Anyway, But even like mainstream talk shows and news are talking about the Xbox and like the debacle and the media and the PR and the press and everything that's happened. That's like amazing that they're just like, I'm driving around, they're just like talking about it. Like last night I was listening to some radio show and he's like, he pulled in like one of the producers and he's like, hey, you're a gamer. Explain this to me. Like, what's going on? What are they doing? And they're just talking about how much they're effing up. And it's like the average person realizes that like this is a really ass backwards way of thinking. And what blows my mind is the writing is on the wall. We've already watched, at least when the music industry messed this all up, they didn't really have a blueprint to go by. They were just sort of like, this was all new. Nobody knew what to do. They were freaking out. They were trying to like, keep the control over the rights and the publishing and all this stuff because they didn't want to lose a bunch of money. They tried their best to do it. They tried locking it down. They tried DRM. They tried locking it to your device. It didn't work. And now what happens? Record labels are struggling. They're just putting out like reissues of like old records that like nobody really cares about anymore, and they're not making nearly as much money as they used to. And the smart people out there in bands and things like that have figured out other ways to make money, different revenue streams. And now I feel like Microsoft is going down the exact same path, and they're gonna try all these different things and gate it and put stops in place. And I think that I'm gonna be like, the people are gonna rise up, but I really feel like the people are just gonna rise up, and like a week later, some hackers are just gonna be like, all right, I've got this super easy hack, boom, click this button, and the Xbox is completely open, and you could probably just like digitally share your games with your friends and all this other crap. I don't know. I think they're just insane.
I mean, I guess I came across too positive. I don't necessarily think what they're doing with the Xbox is the right call by any stretch of the imagination. I think that they're definitely running into problems, but I'm still going to hold my judgment and see how this develops. I don't think that they've taken the right steps.
You know what the checking in thing says to people? Like, I don't know what the technical reason they may be doing the check-in system, but it basically, what it says to me is it thinks that I'm a criminal every 24 hours. Every 24 hours, it's like, hey, Gary Gannon, are you a criminal? Are you stealing games?
Now you're just making it a little bit blown out of proportion.
Why is it checking in every 24 hours to see if my games are legitimate?
I can't tell you that. I'm not.
Because it thinks I'm borrowing games from Mike Schaffnit and playing them, and it doesn't want me to. That's why.
Potentially.
F that. Like, I used to be able to buy. We don't live in that society. We used to buy CDs. I could hand you the CD, be like, hey, Mike, I found this band. You might like it. Try it.
We don't live in that age anymore. What's a CD?
I'm going to smack Mike Schaffnit. Go ahead, move on.
All right. We will move on. Caller, you're on the line with Gamebreaker After Dark. Tell us your name. Tell us where you're from. Tell us your question.
Evening, guys. I'm Mike from Staten Island. I go by Phil on the Gamebreaker forums.
Hey, Phil. Mike. Mike, Phil.
Mike. Hi, Mike. Hi, Gary. My question is for Mike directly. After
all right, good.
This got me thinking after Saturday night when we Valor capped. When doing this scenario of Brewing Storm, is the best course of action as a druid to jump off the cliff half a dozen times to win said scenario?
Yes, because then it keeps you on your toes as a healer to need to specifically life grip me back, but then when you go to life grip, you accidentally fall off the ledge yourself. Clearly, once I started doing that more often, we started getting through the scenario a lot faster, thus clearing it and Valor capping as quickly as possible. Do you ever think about that?
No, I thought that it's possible to heal you when, you drop dead instantly, but...
yeah, I'm just going to say that yes, that's absolutely vital. Just like it's vital for every feral druid ever to jump around while they're DPSing. That comes with as soon as you sign up your character, that's in the description of things you must do. That all you got for us?
Unfortunately, yes.
All right, man. It was fun. I said it I said it I think Saturday night. Let's do it again. Let's Valor Cap because I needed that was fast and easy. Holy cow. Scenarios. You want to Valor Cap fast, guys. If you don't know this yet, grab 2 friends, go run scenarios for 2 hours, and you'll hit 1,000 Valor. Go do it. It's awesome. Thanks, man. Thanks for calling in, and see you again sometime.
So, Mike, back in my day,
Mm-hmm.
we used to go to the store. We would buy these things called records.
What's
Like
a
this-
record?
It's like this brand new Daft Punk album that I have right here. This just came out. It's like a new band.
You are smiling from ear to ear right now. I
And-
think you're just proud to show off a Daft Punk vinyl.
See, and then it was, you know, it was a record, and you put this on a machine and it spins, and you could listen to music.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? I know you don't have the machine, but just because, like, I want you to hear this. I want you to borrow it.
You're pulling a PlayStation
yeah,
here?
I want you to borrow this.
Wow,
and
that's
see how easy that was.
that's
And
really,
now
that's really nice.
and now you can listen to that.
But I don't have an Ethernet for my record player, so they won't let me play this because this was purchased in your name.
That's unfortunate that you can't listen to it, but that is the society we live in, though. And the DRM stuff doesn't work. It doesn't. When they try, we're going to break it. We're going to break it. Like
I absolutely agree with you that we're going to break it, but and I honestly don't care if people don't agree with this or even slightly agree with me, because even I don't agree with this side of it. There's still, for you to lend me this, or in the digital age, now you've lent me their album and I'm going to burn it myself. They're not getting a sale. Perfect example.
This is true.
BioShock.
But that's
I took
something
BioShock
you have
Infinite
to
from
live with.
work
That's something
and
you have to live
didn't
with.
have to buy it.
Well, you have to live with this in this day and age. Is that I've now made you a Daft Punk fan, and I have to sort of hope that at some point you may buy the next Daft Punk record or something. That's the way it just works.
And it's true.
That's why we give away everything we do on Gamebreaker for free. That's why you watch a show. We just give it away. We say, hey, I hope you like it.
Yeah.
I hope you tell your friend about it. And then we have 2 fans. And you know what? If I have to figure out a different way to monetize the video, or if I have to figure out a different... Bands have to go back out on tour because that's how they make money. I don't know. All right,
I think that's a really, really good point. Perfect example. Bring up the digital age. Bring up good band of mine that I loved in high school during the age of Napster and all that, Fall Out Boy. I didn't buy a single Fall Out Boy album growing up ever. Judge me all you want, I don't care. But this last time around, they just released a brand new album. Pre-ordered it, and I pre-ordered all of the extra stuff. Not really because I wanted it. I don't think I've worn any of the clothes that I got with it. I even got a record that I don't have a record player, and I was just like, I'll buy it all, because at this point, for the past X number of years, I've enjoyed Fall Out Boy so much, they deserve my money at this point. BioShock was another great example. BioShock was a game that I borrowed from work, went home and played it, got done with it, was so impressed by it that I immediately went to the store and purchased it because I felt like they deserved my money. The problem is, if I didn't feel that way and I didn't purchase their game, the developer, to an extent, is out that sale.
Yes.
And I got the benefit of playing the game anyway. So there is a problem.
But the flip side of it is, what is actually going to happen is that if they put DRM on BioShock, and you're the type of person that is not going to buy BioShock, and you're not of the mentality of like, I need to give them my money, and somebody cracks it and you have access to it, if you're that person, you're going to take it, and somebody's going to crack it. And now it's not going to make a difference. So whether they put the DRM on it or not doesn't really make a difference. I'm going to go side note right here, right now, and tell everybody in the chat room that you all should watch Jimmy Fallon tonight.
Oh, we completely forgot to even bring that up.
You should all watch Jimmy Fallon tonight because I guess we don't know for sure.
We can I don't know if you got the email. We can say a little bit of specifics.
Oh, we can?
Yes. So we can say you should watch Jimmy Fallon tonight. It's going to be they are going to be featuring.
Oh, apparently the East Coast has already seen it.
They've already seen it. So
who was on? Can people tell us who was in it? Do we know? So there's a World of Warcraft sketch.
There's hang on. Let's just get out what we can say, and then we'll let chat room go. So there's a World of Warcraft sketch on Jimmy Fallon tonight, June 18th. We may or may not be in it.
I don't think
and there will be other faces that you may recognize.
I don't think you made it.
I don't think I made it.
I don't think you made the cut.
Dang, I might not have made it. I tried. I submitted a video. Wasn't very animated, so I could completely understand and get it in the next. I didn't wear a yellow dress.
Looks like Olivia, Pat, and Missy all made it. You didn't make it, bro.
I didn't make it.
Damn.
Tough.
It's rough.
That's the way it goes.
It's rough.
That's showbiz, I guess. It's on YouTube according to Q. Maybe we'll have to pull it up after this because I don't have time to look it up. Or maybe I'll look it up during the final link it in Hip Chat if you get it. Oh, it just got linked. Maybe we'll just pull this up here right now.
Yeah,
Why
we
not?
should. Let's watch this. Peep showing up in that piece right there. So there you go.
Working it out.
We are the World of Warcraft. I'm Fallon.
All right. I think we got the final caller on here. Caller. Ooh, hello, Air. Caller on the line with Gamebreaker After Dark. Tell us your name. Tell us that you're not in a wind tunnel somewhere, and tell us your question.
We are the world. What? Hello.
Hello, this is Mohammed from Saudi Arabia, also known as Go for Spartan. So, my question tonight is about your favorite mini game in video games. Like
Favorite mini game in video games?
Yep.
What is our favorite mini game in video games? Like any video game whatsoever.
Yep.
Man, so many mini games.
Favorite mini game. I definitely hate the mini game in Dead Space because I'm really bad at it. Any of those puzzle games where I have to like move pieces and like create circuitry to like get from point A to point B. My brain just like short circuits. I want to shoot stuff. I don't understand it. And I know they're so simple. My brain just doesn't work like that. I was playing Dead Space and like I don't know if you played it, but there's another one where you gotta like move these like things outside the ship, these like boxes, and I'm just like, nope, can't do it. Forget it. Can't do it. Just give me a gun. Let me shoot stuff in the face. I don't know.
I think for me, and I don't know if this is my favorite, but you say favorite mini game. This is the first thing that popped into my head. Was the
I know mine. Go.
No,
Sorry,
too
sorry,
bad. I'm
sorry.
talking
You can
now.
go.
I'm talking.
I know mine.
It's my turn.
I thought of one. I liked it.
The Chocobo mini game in Final Fantasy.
Shocker.
Like I said, I don't know if it's my favorite. It was just the first that popped into my head. But it was, to me, it was interesting because it wasn't only a mini game. Like it was a mini game that you could completely skip, or it was a mini game that you could invest in, and then there's a huge payoff at the end because obviously, for those of you who haven't played, you get the Knights of the Round, which is the best materia in the game, and then you're like, oh, this was so cool and so worth it. And there's like a little racing mini game within like an RPG, and like I said, I don't know if it's my favorite mini game. It was just the first one that popped in my head, so that's what I'm gonna go with. Gary, what'd you come up with?
Poker in Red Dead Redemption.
I haven't played the poker.
Yeah, I would just like sit at the table and just be like, all right, I'm gonna spend the next like hour. I'm just gonna play poker. Why not? Play some poker.
All right, there you go. Favorite mini games. Gary Gannon. You can follow him right there at Gary Gannon. You can check out. Hey, I know you got bad breath, but you don't need 3 of those. There's some level of alcohol or something in there.
No, there's no alcohol in this. This is the beef pollen. This is actually the breath one.
Ah. Gary Gannon, you can follow him right down there at Gary Gannon.
It's all over my face.
Joining me recently right here on After Dark, where we answer your guys' viewer questions live. Me, you can follow me right here at Mike Schaffnit. I do a whole bunch of awesome stuff here as well. Occasional appearances all over the Gamebreaker network with different shows, as well as my home right here on After Dark at 9 Tuesday nights. Show where you guys call in and make it all happen. It can't happen without you. So please, 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 if you guys haven't considered tuning in live, check us out next week. Call in and ask your questions. Follow us at Gamebreaker TV and check out all of the awesome stuff that goes on the website for all of the different video game MMOs that you guys might be into. Thank you so much for watching. I don't know where Gary's going, but I think he's falling over. Thanks so much, guys. We will talk to you next week.